Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dr. Robinson, and we're going to start a new series of study skills for our seventh graders to get ready for their tests. So, the topic of this show is rational numbers. If you need help with your homework, there's Dial a Teacher Homework Helpline at 212-777-3380 from Monday to Thursday at 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Don't forget to watch our tutorial videos on YouTube. My channel name is Dan Robinson. Take a look at our latest release, PKMS Math Prep 19. We're working on PKMS Math Prep 20, our 20th anniversary. So look for it sometime next year in April. Don't forget to watch our show Math Time on Tuesdays from 4:30 to 5 p.m. on Optimum Cablevision Channel 15. All right, here's our test, what's going to be composed of for rational numbers. So first thing we'll be talking about is exponents and square roots. So let's start with exponents. We have 5 to the third power, 5 to the second power, 5 to the first power, and here's a little star with 5 to the 0 power. So, or exponent, 5 to the exponent of 3, some people call it, or 5 to the exponent, which is called cube. So let's do expanded notation just to recall what that is. That means you're going to write out the number of 5, which is the base, that many times the exponent tells you to. So this exponent is 3, so I'll write the base, which is the 5, 3 times, and then put a multiplication decimal in between them, and that's how we expand it. So we write it out that many times. Here I'm going to write it out 2 times. That's 5 to the second power, or 5 squared, with a multiplication decimal there. And I'm going to only write it 1 time because the exponent is 1. And that's just going to be equal to 5. But here I'm not going to write the 5 no times, so I have to have a placeholder for the value. So I'm going to put the placeholder 1. So that lets me know that there would be a place value for that 5 to the 0 exponent. But the definition of 0 exponent, and I know it's not a 7th grade term, but it's any number raised to the 0 power or letter raised to the 0 power is equal to the value of 1. So we would take our time and multiply these numbers up here. So we only can do 2 at a time. 5 times 5 is 25. And we then bring down this last 5 down here and multiply that. So let's get another color. 5 times 25 is 125. So that is what 5 to the third power is equal to. We just did 5 times 5, and let's get a different color. 5 times 5, that's 25. And we did the other two already, just one little 5, and anything to the 0 power. So my tip for the test would be just use your calculator. Let me get my calculator for a quick second. So 5 to the 0 power on my exponent arrow, if you check on technology video using exponents. So there's the exponent button, and I'm going to press 0. 5 raised to the 0 power, press enter. There's the value 1. 5 to the second power, there's an exponent button of the 2 there, over there next to the 7 on some calculators, over there by the square root sign on this calculator. That is equal to 25, and I could use 5 to the little caret button, 2, and I'll still get 25. So that little caret button works as well. 5 to the third power, and that's 125. So let's take all of these and put them next to these answers right here so you can see them nice and clear. So use your calculator. That way you don't have to knock yourself out. All right, let's go on. Square roots. Square root, remember I mentioned 5 to the second power was called 5 squared. Excuse me, and that's to the exponent of 2. And this is a perfect square column. where you're taking 5 squared, 6 squared, 7 squared, and we're expanding like we just did a moment ago, 5 times 5, which equals 25, and the answer is called the power. I know this sometimes gets mixed up because it's a multiplication problem, but that would be product. But when you're dealing with exponents, that's called power, the answer. 6 to the second power, or 6 squared, is 6 times 6, which is equal to 36. 7 to the exponent of 2, 7 times 7 is 49. When we're dealing with square roots, all we're doing is just going backwards, trying to figure out what number times itself would give us the power. So the square root symbol is this little hook with a division sign there, and the square root of 25, we would say what number times itself would equal to 25, and that would be 5. Why? Because 5 times 5 is 25. Square root of 36 equals 6. Why? Because 6 times 6 is 36. Square root of 49 equals 7. Why? Because 7 times 7 is 49. So my tip would be use your calculator. So let me get my calculator real quick. Clear this. So second square root button. Oh, this calculator has a square root button, whereas the other one we use, you have to press second. So square root 25. Close the calculator. And there's your 5. Square root of 36. And that gives you 6. And the square root of 49. That gives you 7. So let's bring those out here. So use your calculator. Here's a little note. The additive inverse of the root will also be an answer. Additive inverse means opposite. So the opposite of 5 would be negative 5. The opposite of 6 would be negative 6. Opposite of 7 would be negative 7. And let me just get my calculator just to show you. If I took negative 5 and multiplied it by negative 5, guess what you'll get? Positive 25. So that means I have another answer to add to my inventory here. So I could say 5 or negative 5, 6 or negative 6, 7 or negative 7. Those would be optional additional answers, the negative answer of the square root. Sometimes they ask you for a negative answer. All right, what else we got? So I hope you understand what's going on so far. If not, watch the video again, write down your questions, because this is on your test, and bring them in and I'll be glad to explain them to you. So our next topic would be rational numbers. All right, so rational numbers, we have fractions, decimals, percentages, and whole numbers. So I see integers and perfect squares down there. So let's deal with rational numbers. Rational numbers are fractions that we can have that are decimals or repeating decimals, I see, and percentages. So whole numbers, those are rational numbers. Anything that can be turned into a fraction would be a rational number. So I notice this fraction, 2/4 equals 1/2. So those are congruent fractions. So those are equivalent to each other. So let's clear this. Type 2/4, 2/4, and there's, I know you have an ABC button, but I just want to show you something here. 2/4 is another way to write that, and that'll give me 1/2. And if I use, because that division sign is another way of saying how to write the fraction bar. But if I use a division sign, and I know this looks like the old division sign because of the calculator, guess what it does? Changes it to a decimal. So there's my decimal. So that's how you change a fraction to a decimal. So it's a video I created, so check that out. And percentages over there, I'll just say multiply by the magic number, because percent means hundredth. If you multiply that by 100, you'll get 50, and we're talking 50%. So That's a little review. You can check out those videos, how to change percentages and fractions to decimals and vice versa and all of that. Whole numbers are rational numbers, like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. First whole number is 0. So check out my video on that. Perfect squares, those numbers that you can take the square root of, like 49 would be a perfect square, but why? Because the square root of 49 is 7. Integers, we have positive and negative numbers. Those are also rational numbers, and don't forget 0. 2/3, uh, that's a repeating decimal if you look at it. 0.6 with a line on top, so the line means the 6 is repeating. We can change that to percentages, so 66 and 2/3 percent, or 66.6 with a line on top of that. So those repeating decimals or terminating decimals should help you out as far as knowing what's a rational number. But your tip would be use your calculator to determine if it's a rational or non-rational number. If you can't change it to a decimal, a fraction to a decimal to a fraction, basically you're not dealing with a rational number. So those are some examples of rational numbers. Sometimes you run into proportions, I know, on the test. So how do we deal with proportions? Cross products is what we have to deal with. Just cross multiply to see if they're equal. So we just said 2/4 equals 1/2. We proved that by the calculator. But if you don't have a calculator, just cross multiply. 2 times 2 equals 4 times 1. And 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 1 is 4. So that's how you would deal with those types of proportions, equal fractions, and hopefully you'll get a calculator to use just to help you out. All right, what's next? So check your understanding. If everything's going well so far, good. If not, write down your questions, bring it in before the test is coming. All right, our next topic is number line. Number line. So the 0 has no sign. So it separates the positive numbers which go to the right, and notice as we go to the right further out, it gets larger, and negative numbers go to the left. Notice how it starts with -1, then -2, -3. So it looks like it would be getting larger, but in actuality, the value is getting much smaller as you go to the left on the number line. So we'll be doing some comparing of numbers and integers on the number line. So let's take a look. First thing we'll be doing on the test, we'll have to graph. So we have to know how to graph these points, and it's very straightforward. You just put a dot on those integers. So I'm going to take this dot and put it on the -4. I'm going to take the next dot and put it on the 2. And I think you got the point. You'll take the next dot and put it where? Right on the -7. And there's how you graph. The next topic is absolute value. Absolute value means the distance a number is away from 0. So let's move these out. So let's put absolute value of -9. So if we graph -9 on there, we want to find out how many spaces is it away from 0. It says 9. How do we know? Well, we have to start doing some actual counting. So let's get our color and count. We're going to count how many spaces we get to 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That will land us at 0. So it's 9 spaces away from 0. That's why it's 9. So I know it already says 9 in here. So if you take out the value of 9, that's how you can take a little shortcut. Unless they have an operation where you're adding, subtracting, or doing some type of operation in there, you just can't take it out. You have to solve it first, then make the answer positive. So the answer is always going to be positive because distance is a positive number. So that was 9 spaces or 9 units away from 0. All right, true or false? The comparison. Absolute value of -1. Is it less than -9? Well, let's get the thing and graph that. So absolute value of -1. So absolute value of -1 means how many Spaces is -1 away from 0. So let me graph that, get a different color. So let me count how many spaces is that. Just one space. So this is one space away from 0. So now I'm really comparing is 1 less than -9. Well, I look at comparing these integers by drawing one little symbol. That's a $sign. Is $1 less than -9, or owing somebody $9? Well, owing money is bad because you have to pay it back. So I tell my students, you always want to have positive money because that means you have it in your pocket. If you owe money, that means you lost it, or you owe it, which is very bad, and you're in a bad situation. So that's less than having money in your pocket. So if you have money in your pocket, that's greater than. So here we have $1 in our pocket, which is more than owing somebody $9. So that's a better situation. So this is absolutely positively false. So you got to know money, or you got to remember the rule. The further you go this way to the right on the number line, when you graph it, the larger the number is. So 1 is here, -9 is way down there. So it's closer to the right, which is the greater numbers, whereas the further you go to the left, the smaller numbers. So that's our story about the number line. So check out my video on the number line to get more detail. Hope you understand what's going on. Write down your questions if you don't. Rewatch the video if you're uncertain, and if you understand so far, great. Well, we've conquered everything. We're down to our last topic, integer operations. Well, add, subtract, multiply, or divide integers and orders of operation. Here we have different types of problems. Some have negative numbers on them, and exponents and parentheses, division. So here we got a lot of stuff to do. Well, I'm going to use my favorite tip. Use your calculator. If you type in exactly what you have here in your calculator, hopefully you have the nice calculator that we have, or the TI 30X II solar powered calculator. That's a good calculator to use, and it helps you get the answer because it knows orders of operation. So I'm just going to type in exactly what I see there. Parenthesis 6 minus 7, parenthesis, divided by 10, and don't forget the exponent button. That's the caret. 3, and it will give me the answer if I typed everything exactly like I was supposed to. And there's my answer, -4.01. Oh, Jesus. So that's my answer. So I hope you got that right. So type it into your calculator, and there's your answer. So it's great if you have a calculator, so use it for these crazy operations. Here's some vocabulary you should know, though. Addition, there's some words that you need to know, like total, sum is the answer to addition, by the way. Deposit, when you're talking banking, putting your money into the bank. Added to, combined total. In addition to, more than is another good word to know. Subtraction words, minus, difference is used a lot. That's the answer to subtraction. Deduction, where they talk about taxes. Diminish, less than is a tough word to deal with. Withdrawal means take money out of the bank. Take away. So let's see, any more words? Okay, for multiplication, times, product of, multiply of. Of is an important word in math. It usually means multiplication most of the time. Division, divide by, divides. Quotient is the answer to division. Per is a very good word. It also comes up a lot. The quotient of. So those are words you should know. So get to know those words. Check your understanding. I hope everything is going well. And if you have questions, write them down. We'll deal with them before the test. So make sure you watch the video before the test. So we've conquered the whole test composition topics, and that's what's on your test on rational numbers. So make sure you watch our tutorial videos if you still didn't get your questions answered in time on those different topics. So check them out. My channel name is Dan Robinson. Subscribe to our channel for more tips so you can know what's going to be on the test and our study skills review. Give us a thumbs up if you like the video. Check out our latest video, Math Prep PKMS Math Prep 19. Tweet me at drobmath1. Remember, there's Dollar Teacher Homework Helpline at 212-777-3380, Monday to Thursday from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. So don't forget to watch our show, Math Time, on Tuesdays from 4:30 to 5 p.m. on Optimum Cablevision, Channel 15. Good luck on your exam. I know you're going to do well because you watched the video and got my tips. If you'd like to study with me, and you want a copy of a worksheet or a study buddy or something, write me at robinsonmath@aol.com. So you've just been watching Study Skills for Grade 7 with Dr. Robinson. Topic was rational numbers. I hope you enjoyed the video.